Today we're going to be doing some sculpture, and we're going to be inspired by two different artists, Picasso and another artist called Vest. And we're going to use their ideas to inspire our own sculpture making. Now, they used clay and they used papier-mâché, and we're going to make a special clay that actually combines those two things. So this video is really going to show you how to make this clay, and then I'll make another video to show you how you can decorate this clay inspired by those two artists. To make this special clay, we're going to need one newspaper. And the next thing you're going to need is some water, and you're also going to need some flour. But you won't actually need the flour till tomorrow. If that's something that might be on a shopping list, then you can wait. You can wait for a few days if you like the flour. So this is going to take a little bit of time. So you're also going to need about half a cup of salt. Start tearing your newspaper into long strips, and when you've got 3 or 4 long strips in your hands, you can then make them into small pieces and tear them into a nice big bowl. You can use scissors for this bit if you like. Just make sure you use all of the newspaper. Take some hot water from the kettle and pour it over the newspaper. Probably a good idea to get a grown-up to do this bit. Just make sure the newspaper's covered. You don't need any more water than that. Make sure all the newspaper is in the water using a wooden spoon, like you can see Daisy doing here, and then leave that to soak overnight. Get your hands into the bowl and start pulling apart the newspaper to start making it into a pulp. start making your plate out of clay, cover a plate from your kitchen in a piece of plastic bag, or if you have cling film, you could use a piece of cling film. This just stops the clay sticking to the plate as it dries. Take small bits of clay in your hands and then squish it down using your fingertips onto the cling film or the plastic on your plate. Just make sure it's about the same thickness all over.
Let them dry just for a day now, so they're not quite dry yet. I wanted to show you them so you can see how they're going to start to go. So we'll start with the plate that I made, which I've got here. So you can see it's still on the plastic plate and it's drying very nicely. It feels quite firm, but that's not ready to paint yet. I reckon that might be ready tomorrow or maybe even the next day, but there's no hurry because, you know, where are we going? So this is really drying nicely now. I'm really pleased with that. So that's the plate. That's going to be ready to decorate with a Picasso style animal and some really simple patterns in a very simple colour palette. So I'm really excited to decorate that. I've already been thinking about what kind of designs I'm going to do. So you can think about how you're going to decorate your clay sculptures as they're drying. So that's my plate. So Daisy made a bowl. Actually, she made 2 bowls, didn't she? This is her first bowl. So she made it inside, which is a really good idea because as it dries, it does shrink a little bit. So if you make it on the outside, it will sort of grip hold of the bowl and you don't really want that to happen. So she's made hers inside and that's going to lift out really easily. It's not quite dry yet, but it's getting there. But you could go all the way up to the top if you wanted to make quite a deep bowl. And she made a little tiny ring bowl here, which looks very cute. And again,
It's not quite dry, but it's drying really nicely, and I want to decorate this, but I'm sure Daisy will want to decorate it how she likes. Also made some abstract forms out of our paper pulp clay, which was great fun. In fact, Daisy made more than me, but we both had a go. She allowed me to have a go too. And it felt really nice to do. So Daisy made some abstract sculptures here. I don't know if you can see those. There's one here. They're dry enough to lift out now. So there's one here you can see. This is kind of like a wave. She kind of went for the elements in the end, but she wanted to keep them abstract. So I think that's meant to be sort of like water. And then this one is very sort of pointy and spiky, and I think she wanted to give it the feel of fire, but again it's abstract, so it's not a literal representation of fire. And then this one, which I think is very cute, I think that's supposed to represent earth. That's lovely. And she really pressed them down so they've really sealed onto one another there. And then the last one, what's the last one? Air? Or maybe this is water, I'm not sure, but I quite like that kind of tongue shape going around like that. But again, these are really nearly dry. Really let them dry before we paint them. And then I had a go at making some abstract shapes, and I don't know if you can see, but I put holes through the middle of them using just a paper straw. I just put that through here like this, and I've made quite a few of these in different sizes here, which are all drying really nicely. So I'm going to paint those in really bright colours. And there's another one here like that. And I made myself a little base here using, again, a straw, and I just made myself a little base out of the paper pulp clay. So I really hope you have a go at making your own paper pulp clay this week. Have a go at making some plates and some bowls like Picasso, and also try and make some abstract forms like Franz West. And hopefully by next week they'll all be dry, and I'll show you how you can paint them and decorate them. I hope you have a good week, and I'll see you next time. Bye!